Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Hani from University Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Baba Free University of Health Sciences, Faridkot, Punjab, India. Today I am going to present the module Targeted Drug Delivery Systems Part 3 from the paper Novel Drug Delivery Systems Part 2. The learning objectives of the present module include physical drug targeting, dual targeting, double targeting, inverse targeting, combination targeting, and chemical drug targeting. So let's start with the introduction of this module. As you know, the gray area of the drug targeting, where there is still a lot to focus on, is the selectivity and specificity towards its target. Although various targeted strategies have shown a remarkable results, however, the occurrence of the non-desirable effects on the non-targeted cells cannot be overlooked. The pitfalls of the targeted approaches could be better catered with the alternate physical approaches, where the facile local administration of the drug molecule is carried out by exploiting the local physiological conditions of the body. The present module comprehensively focus on the physical strategies for the drug targeting and the other modes of drug targeting, which include dual, combination, and the chemical mode of the drug targeting. The present slide comprehensively focus on the physical mode of drug targeting. The physical targeted approach relies on the fact that certain pathological areas of the body varies from the normal tissues with respect to certain physical indicators, which could be endogenous or internal and exogenous or external. The endogenous factors or internal factors include pH, temperature, redox potential, ionic strength, and glucose concentration, whereas the exogenous factors or the external factors include magnetic field, ultrasound, electric field, and light intensity. So students, what are the various ideal features for the physical targeting? One of the important feature about the physical targeting is that the carriers, they are distributed in the systemic circulation and they will not get accumulated at the targeted site except its degradation. After degradation, the carrier will release the drug component at the targeted site. In this particular slide, we will learn that how a physical targeted system acts. That is, what is the principle of the physical drug targeting. The physical targeted approach, in this particular approach, the carrier is distributed in the systemic circulation and it doesn't get accumulated at the target site except its degradation. After the degradation, the carrier will release the drug component at the targeted area. In solid tumors, it has been observed that the microenvironment is slightly acidic in nature, that is slightly lower pH, and it exhibits mild hyperthermia, which could be specifically exploited as a stimulus for the physical drug targeting. Stimuli responsive colloidal systems have been designed and developed that tend to degrade at the acidic pH or at the elevated temperature. This particular figure shows a schematic representation of the stimuli responses based on the drug tumor targeting. You can see in this particular visual a normal tissue apart from a blood vessel in which the magnetic stimulus has been given in the form of the nanoparticle system. Various external stimuli such as ultrasound, light as well as heat has been given to the tumor tissue, and this particular energy leads to the formation of the pores in the tumor vasculature, and which further leads to the EPR effect. Then this extracellular stimuli helps in the internalization of the nanoparticle system through the endocytosis process. In this particular slide, the table shows the various stimuli which are used for the physical drug targeting. Both external and internal types of stimuli, they are used for the physical drug targeting. Firstly, the temperature, which is also used as a stimuli, has been incorporated as a liposomal formulation, and the mechanism of the drug delivery was the change in the permeability of the targeted area. Then pH is the another indicator which has been also exploited as a formulation device for exploiting the natural pH gradient of the tumor microenvironment. Other stimuli such as magnetic modulation have also been exploited in the form of magnetically responsive microspheres which contained the magnetite or the iron oxide, and such nanoparticles, they can retard the fluid flow of the particles. Another stimuli, which is the ultrasound, also causes the change in the permeability of the targeted area. Electric pulse and light, they are the other stimuli which also are used for the physical drug targeting. pH sensitive systems. These systems are one of the widely investigated approaches. This approach exploits the condition that diseased tissue, due to some inflammation, necrosis, infection, or tumor tissues, exhibits slightly acidic pH than the normal tissue. It is a well-known fact that the microenvironment of a tumor tissue is acidic because of the insufficient oxygen in the tumors, which further leads to hypoxia and causes the production of the lactic acid. This condition is exploited in the designing of the pH responsive drug designing and the genetic drug delivery systems, which can exploit the biochemical properties at the diseased site for the targeted delivery. The change in the pH or the pH gradient acts as a stimulus for the pH sensitive systems. Further, the chemotherapeutic agents which are conjugated with the pH sensitive polymers or the acid sensitive spacers between the drug and the polymer can target the drug to the tumor cells. In figure 2, you can see the drugs which are conjugated with the pH sensitive polymers are targeted to the tumor cells, and these particular delivery systems that enables the release of the drug at a relatively acidic extracellular fluid or after the endocytosis in the endosomes or the lysosomes of the tumor cells. We will discuss the various features of the pH sensitive system. As you know that pH gradient in the tumor microenvironment acts as a stimulus for the pH sensitive systems. So wider amount of the research is being carried out for the development of pH sensitive nanoparticles for the physical drug targeting approaches. In case of drug targeting, there is one molecule known as doxorubicin which acts through intercalating the DNA molecule. This is the chemotherapeutic molecule which has been exploited for the intracellular drug targeting, that is, for the release of the drug into the nuclei of the tumor cell. Such systems have been designed in a way to exploit the pH gradient in the tumor microenvironment. That is the drop of the intratumor pH by 1 from the normal blood pH 7.5 to 6.5. The pH range of the tumor microenvironment is about 6.5 to 7.2, whereas in case of the endosome or a lysosomal compartment, the pH range is about 4 to 6.5 respectively, in comparison to the normal tissues. pH responsive nanoparticles that reverse the charge or expose the ligands at the outer surface of the tumor pH have been designed to facilitate tumor cell uptake. This phenomenon is known as de-shielding. Acid-sensitive nanoparticles, which are prone to swelling, dissolution, or degradation at endosomal or lysosomal pH, have been devised to obtain fast intracellular doxorubicin release in the tumor cells. Similarly, in another study, a pH-sensitive polymeric carrier in which a polyvinyl pyrrolidone co-dimethyl malic anhydride was conjugated with the doxorubicin, which gradually released the free drug in response to the changes in the pH at the tumor site, and showed high accumulation of the doxorubicin at the tumor site. In the figure 3, you can easily see that the pH of the tumor tissue is between 6.5 to 7.2. There is a nanoparticle which permeates or gets released and according to the pH gradient, and there is an internalization of the endosome as well as the lysosome, which only occurs at a pH of 4 to 6.5. So students, the another type of stimuli sensitive system is based on the temperature. In such type of system, drug or a drug nanocarrier is targeted based on the pathological conditions of distinct hyperthermia. Heat sensitivity to the targeted zone has also been exploited in the magnetic targeting. So studies have shown the temperature as a viable option for providing the drug accumulation through the intravenous administration of the drug or the drug nanocarriers to the targeted site upon heating up to 40 to 45 degrees centigrade. For example, intravenous administration of the liposomal formulation and the other nanocarriers in the tumor upon heating to 42 degrees centigrade in the human ovarian carcinoma xenograft model. Some of the alternate approaches include the thermosensitive polymers. These polymeric micelles, they are formulated using the thermosensitive polymers such as poly-N-alkyl acrylamide and its block copolymers, polymethyl vinyl ether. All such polymers, they show low critical solution temperature, which is also known as LCST, in the aqueous phase, and above that they also show hydrophobicity. In this particular section, we will study the functional properties of the thermosensitive polymers in a thermosensitive nanocarriers. Some of the features of the thermosensitive polymers are that these polymers respond to the alterations in the temperature of the external environment, which further put impact on the various vital parameters like conformation, solubility, and log P values. These polymers, they also show lower critical solution temperature, also known as LCST, in which the temperature below which the polymer solution has one phase and the above which they have a phase separation as a result of the collapse and aggregation of the polymeric chains, and then it expels water. So this variation in the LCST also directly affected by the log P values in the thermosensitive nanocarrier. Photosensitive systems. Light-induced release of drug at the targeted site is one of the most exciting areas of the stimuli-sensitive targeting. In such system, a beam of a light or a laser beam in a spatially and a timely manner locally focused at the targeted site and is controlled to accomplish the drug release. There are various biomaterials which are light sensitive in nature, such as dyes, polymers, metal, which are adept of degrading and release their drug components once optically induced at a particular intensity of a light beam. So such photosensitive polymers, have been designed to get induced and activated through UV, that is ultraviolet, near infrared and visible wavelengths in order to trigger the drug release at a specific region of the wavelength. Another promising approach among the photosensitive therapies is the tumor targeting using the photodynamic therapy. In such systems, photosensitizing macromolecules, that is the porphyrin derivatives, chlorines, phthalocyanins and porphycinins, they are exploited to cater the needs of the drug targeting. The mechanism involved in such type of tumor targeting is by the generation of the ROS, which is the radical oxygen species which destroys the tumor cells. In figure 4, you can see a light irradiated molecule which targets the drug release at a particular site through the photodynamic therapy. The dye inside the polymeric system gets activated and the light induction leads to the release of the drug component through the polymers. Enzyme responsive drug delivery systems. These targeted approaches exploit the enzymes as a stimuli for the drug delivery at a specific site. The stimulus is the alteration in composition and the expression level of an enzyme. Among such enzymes, the examples of MMP9 and MMP2, which belongs to the class of the matrix metalloproteinases, are utilized in the targeted killing of the tumor cells. These enzymes, they are widely implicated in diverse types of cancers for their role in invasion, progression and metastasis. In figure 5, various MMP sensitive substrates like protein, peptides and polymers have been shown for the drug targeting. You can see that the enzyme stimuli drug delivery using the MMP trigger mechanism. In this figure, the cell membrane shows that the receptors which are present on the cell membranes, they are triggered by the enzymatic stimuli of the MMP2 responsive multifunctional nanocarrier. This particular nanocarrier releases the long PEG chains after the cleavage by the extracellular MPP2 enzyme. So the exposure of this particular enzyme leads to the intracellular uptake of the ligand, which is the TAT peptide. So this particular mechanism leads to the internalization of the drug delivery nanoparticle. Magnetic targeting or the magnetic sensitive drug delivery systems. Such systems for the purpose of drug targeting was firstly introduced by Vidar et al. In 1978. The magnet-assisted tumor-targeted approaches have shown an immense application and potential for the delivery of molecules. Such systems, drugs are immobilized on a ferromagnetic colloidal carriers or conjugated with the magnetic particles such as iron oxide nanoparticles, namely magnetite, and are allowed to circulate in the body. After then, an external magnetic field is applied at the site of the action, which localize the circulating carriers, which further lead to the exceptionable tumor levels of the drugs. In this particular figure, that is figure 6a, the magnetic targeted systems, the nanoparticles which are conjugated with the iron oxide or the magnetic polycaprolactone polymers having a size range of 4 to 10 nanometer, they are administered to the body, which exhibit supramagnetic properties in figure 6b. Another approach of tumor targeting using supramagnetic iron oxide nanoparticles, which is also known as SPINE, involves the enhancement of the local temperature by an alternating magnetic field as the nanoparticles undergo different relaxation processes after the removal of the field. Using this technique, The elimination of the tumor occurs by the heat developed by the oscillating spine, as you can see in the figure 8. The magnitude of this temperature change depends upon the strength of the external magnetic field, magnetic size, shape, as well as the magnetization values, as well also the concentration of the magnetic nanoparticles. The increase in temperature can be exploited favorably for the release of drugs from the polymer coating surrounding the magnetic nanoparticles, or for killing the cells due to a phenomenon known as hyperthermia, where the increase in the temperature results in the denaturation of the enzymes and the functional proteins, which further induce the cell death. Thus, the increase in temperature depends upon the size, shape, and accumulation of the nanoparticles at the targeted site and on the application of the oscillating magnetic field. However, the targeting or the localization of the magnetic nanoparticles is carried out using the external magnets as shown in figure 7. For example, the targeting of the magnetic particles of an anti-cancer molecule gemcitabine in the pancreatic cancer xenograft mouse model using the external magnets have been studied. In another study, mitoxantrone loaded spine and targeted them to VX squamous cell carcinoma in rabbits have also been investigated using the external magnets. Another approach of tumor targeting using supramagnetic iron oxide nanoparticle, which is also known as spine, involves the enhancement of the local temperature by an alternating magnetic field as the nanoparticles undergo different relaxation processes after the removal of the field. Using this technique, the elimination of the tumor occurs by the heat developed by the oscillating spine, as you can see in the figure 8. The magnitude of this temperature change depends upon the strength of the external magnetic field, magnetic size, shape, as well as the magnetization values, as well also the concentration of the magnetic nanoparticles. The increase in temperature can be exploited favorably for the release of drugs from the polymer coating surrounding the magnetic nanoparticles, or for killing the cells due to a phenomenon known as hyperthermia, where the increase in the temperature results in the denaturation of the enzymes and the functional proteins, which further induce the cell death. Thus, the increase in temperature depends upon the size, shape, and accumulation of the nanoparticles at the targeted site and on the application of the oscillating magnetic field. In this particular section, we will learn the various advantages and limitations of the magnetic targeting. The pros of the magnetic targeting are the site-specific efficient loading with the controlled drug release behavior. Up to 60% of the drug can be targeted and controlled via magnetic targeting. So there is a minimum risk of toxicity because of the non-specific tissues or the cells are not targeted. Further, there is a minimum adverse effects by the magnetic targeted therapy. So there will be the prolonged circulation and residence time. Better compliance of the patient can be achieved because of the reduced dose frequency. These targeted systems, they also show low immunogenicity or the immunogenic potential because of the diversion of the magnetic nanoparticles away from the immune system or the reticuloendothelial system. Ferromagnetic materials such as iron, cobalt, nickel, manganese, and other alloys, which also possess high magnetization values, they are also biocompatible in nature. However, there are some cons related to the magnetic targeting. The limitations include that the external magnetic field can cause aggregation of the magnetic nanoparticles, which can cause the blocking of the blood vessels. The application of the external magnetic field can also affect the iron-containing biomolecules such as hemoglobin, which may result in the alteration of the blood rheology or the viscosity. Further, the treatment depth is also limited as the deep body targeting can lead to serious problems with the blood flow. The variations in the blood flow at the different regions of the body makes it difficult to achieve a homogeneous distribution of the magnetic nanoparticles. Unless the magnetic carriers they are precisely traced by the real-time imaging data, manipulation using the magnetic field may lead to inaccurate or improper targeting. So let's start with the application of the magnetic targeted systems. Magnetic targeting is also quite useful in the cellular proteomics, cell isolation techniques, biosensing techniques, magnetic resonance imaging techniques, also known as MRI, stem cell tracking for inducing the hypothermia, gene delivery models, magnetic embolization, and magnetofaction. So all such techniques, they are widely used through the magnetic targeted systems. Ultrasound targeting. The circulating colloidal carriers may be accumulated at the desired site of the action using the ultrasound energy. Significant higher tumor levels of doxorubicin from the polymeric micelles have been targeted upon imparting the external ultrasound as compared to that of the free drug counterpart. The driving force for the preferential localization herein is the destabilization of the colloidal carrier upon the exposure of higher energy external force. In such systems, the accumulated drug or the drug nanocarriers present at the targeted area or the tissues, they are made leaky by virtue of the external application of the ultrasound energy. As you can see in the figure 9, when there is a disruption of the tissue occurs, nanocarriers they can liberate their incorporated drugs or genes. For example, doxorubicin incorporated polymeric micelles which are targeted to the cancerous tissue, they were disrupted by the ultrasound application. Similarly, the local release of the thrombotic enzymes plasminogen activator from the echogenic liposomes in the area of the clot formation has also been achieved. This particular therapy, as indicated from the figure 9, can be very useful for the ultrasound targeting. Further, there are certain critical parameters like acoustic parameters, concentration, molecular weight, and surface charge on the loaded drug. They are also an important factors for the successful drug delivery via ultrasound energy. In figure 9, you can see a polymeric nanoparticle based on the nanoemulsions in which the drug was loaded inside the polymeric coating and PEG coated was carried out with the liquid polyperfluorocarbon. When the ultrasound energy was transmitted, it led to the development of the microbubbles which released the drug from the nanoemulsions. Students, let us discuss some of the major advantages of the ultrasound targeting technique. Ultrasound targeting is a non-chemical, non-viral and non-invasive method for the drug transport to the targeted cells. This technology can enhance the permeability of the cellular membranes by providing the shock for a particular phase, which may result in the better accumulation of the drugs inside the targeted cells. This particular shock may lead to the formation of the pore channels inside the biomembranes, and this particular targeting technique can also be used locally at a very small region of interest inside the body. Ultrasound targeting also reaches deep inside the human body in the absence of harming the tissue in the path of beam. Limitations of ultrasound drug delivery systems. The basic limitation of such systems is that they are strongly attenuated by the bones in the body. The DNA damage or the apoptosis induced by the ultrasound therapy remains subtle and elusive. So there is a still proof of concept which is required in this particular segment of the drug delivery systems. Students, let's discuss some of the allied approaches which are also used for the drug targeting. Such a technique is also known as dual targeting. It is also refers to as a synergistic targeting approach. In this particular method, the active targets exert their own therapeutic effect, thus augments the overall therapeutic effect or the net synergistic activity of the drug. For example, the monoclonal antibodies, interferons, interleukins, enzymes, peptide hormones, and the antivirally active glycoproteins, all such examples of carriers which also exert their own therapeutic effect. The advantages of such targeted approach is the concomitant blocking of the sequential steps in the pathological process. Also, it provides a better drug resistance in comparison to the other approaches. The next approach is the double targeting approach. This method is also known as spatial targeting. When the temporal and spatial methodologies they are combined together to target a carrier system, then the targeting may be called as double targeting. The spatial placement relates to the targeting of the drugs to the specific organs, cells, tissues, or even a subcellular compartment, whereas the temporal delivery refers to the controlling of the rate of the drug delivery to a targeted site. Other approach, which is also known as inverse targeting. In this type of approach, the passive uptake of the colloidal carriers by the reticuloendothelial system is avoided by pre-injecting the higher concentration of the blank colloidal nanocarriers or the macromolecules. So what will happen? This approach will lead to the oversaturation of the reticuloendothelial system, thereby the suppression of the defense mechanism. So this method is known as inverse targeting. So such systems, they are quite effective in targeting the drugs to the known reticuloendothelial organs. Combination targeting. In this type of approach, sometimes one drug may be insufficient to cause recession in the pathological condition. Thus, two or more therapeutic agents, they are targeted together in order to achieve a synergistic effect of two and exploiting the different disease pathways or genes or cell cycle checkpoints in the pathological process in order to enhance the therapeutic efficacy. Combination targeted approach also allows the scientists to use the drugs at the lower dose range, which further leads to the reduction in the cytotoxicity of the drugs, but also enhance the therapeutic efficacy. Therefore, this technique presents a promising example for the future nanomedicine. For example, combination of cisplatin and vinorelbine for the treatment of non-small cell lung cancer have been successfully achieved. Another example include Taxol, carboplatin and Herceptin for the treatment of HER2 tumors have also been carried out. One important aspect about the combination targeting is to optimize the dose ratio of the multiple drug components for the effective administration, which often gets complicated by the dissimilar pharmacokinetics and biodistribution profile. Hence, due to the different rates of the metabolism within the body, these systems must be optimized for well before the drug targeting. Hence, all such issues they must be evaluated on the basis of higher therapeutic efficacy achieved through synergism. Chemical targeting or the prodrug concept. In this approach, a prodrug is metabolized into its active form using a chemical and enzymatic reactions. One of the technology called direct enzyme prodrug therapy, also known as DEPT, utilizes the administration of artificial enzymes into the body to convert prodrugs. Those prodrugs which either have no or poor biological activity to its active form in the desired targeted site within the body. Hence, a wide range of chemotherapeutic molecules which lack the tumor specificity and the dose required to reach the therapeutic level in the tumors, they are often toxic to the other tissues. To solve the problems related with the specificity and as well as the specific effect, these chemical targeted approaches, they are designed. Direct enzyme prodrug therapies, these are the targeted strategies which are generally exploited as an experimental models for reducing the systemic toxicity of a drug by achieving the high therapeutic levels of an active drug only at a targeted site. So, various modifications of this DEPT technology has been proposed till date, and such modifications include antibody-directed enzyme prodrug therapy, also known as ADEPT, gene-directed enzyme prodrug therapy, GDEPT, virus-directed enzyme prodrug therapy, VDEPT, polymer-directed enzyme prodrug therapy, PDEPT, Clostridia-directed enzyme prodrug therapy, CDEPT. Among all these various strategies, ADEPT focuses on using a specific antibody tagged non-endogenous enzyme which will selectively bind to a targeted cell surface. Then the prodrug is administered into the body, which is only metabolized by the enzyme under the hypoxic conditions with respect to the normal tissues. Hence, such selective therapy only targets the active form of the drug at a particular site. In figure 10, as you can see that in case of ADEPT technology, an antibody conjugated to the enzyme is firstly injected, and this enzyme binds with the tumor cell specifically, and the antibody targets the enzyme to the tumor. Thereafter, the prodrug is then injected, and this prodrug leads to the enzymatic degradation of the drug from the tumor to the tumor cell. So the prodrug reaches the targeted site, is activated to a drug by the presence of a targeted enzyme, which results in the localized action of the drug. Students, let's summarize and conclude the present module. The physical targeted techniques such as internal and external stimuli induced, they are quite exciting and conceptually beautiful, although they have shown better response in comparison to the conventional drug delivery systems with respect to control, drug localization, and the prevention from the RES system. There are certain challenges in the stimuli sensitive systems such as off-drug targeting by the non-specific stimuli because of the diverse physiological conditions of the body. So this may cause serious adverse effects to the other regions of the body. Hence, it could be summarized that the physical drug targeting through various stimuli such as internal or external, they are still in the native stages. Further, the other modes of the drug targeting like the dual mode, combination, and the other chemical modes of the drug targeting, they are also yet imperfect. In order to mimic such systems, a comprehensive amalgamation of the biochemical and biophysical laws, which include physical concepts, chemical interactions, and the molecular biological aspects. All these concepts must be fully understood. So with the ever-growing challenges in the pathological conditions, the novel frontiers in the drug targeting approaches that must be equipped with the multidimensional aspects in order to design the future drug delivery science. Thank you very much.